The WNBA is rocking. What could we have more? I mean, I just think, you know, from a salary standpoint.
Caitlin Clark played a terrible game, shot 4 of 17 from the field. The Indiana Fever got curb stomped by the Connecticut Sun.
That's how skilled you are. It's the other end that y'all got to start taking way more pride in and understanding like that is going to win us games.
Picture this. You're scrolling through social media, hyped for the WNBA playoffs, when suddenly you notice something's off. Where's Caitlin Clark? The rookie who's been lighting up the court all season is nowhere to be seen in the promo. What's going on here? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Let's talk about Clark for a second. This girl isn't just playing basketball, she's rewriting the rule book. Imagine dropping 19.2 points, dishing out 8.4 assists, and snagging 5.7 rebounds per game. That's not rookie numbers, that's MVP territory. But you know what's even crazier? Clark isn't just dominating on the court, she's filling seats like nobody's business. The Indiana Fever went from barely scraping together 4,000 fans to packing in 177,000. That's not just growth, that's a full-blown revolution. So here's the million-dollar question. If Clark's this good, why isn't everyone talking about her? Something's not adding up, and fans are starting to notice. What's really going on behind the scenes? Remember when we said something wasn't adding up? The WNBA just proved it in the most shocking way possible. Their playoff promo is out, and there's a glaring omission that set the basketball world on fire. Why would they make such a controversial choice? You'd think the league would be chomping at the bit to showcase their new superstar, right? But nope, Caitlin Clark is nowhere to be seen in the playoff promo. It's like throwing a party for the Avengers and forgetting to invite Iron Man.
First time since 2016, this team has clinched a playoff spot. You guys learned about it last night.
So Caitlin Clark, if you're out there, you are one of the GOATs of our games, and we appreciate you.
The first woman to ever be the biggest star in American sports was assaulted 2 minutes into the game.
Fans are scratching their heads, wondering if they missed something. Let's break this down for a second. Clark isn't just some bench warmer. She's the rookie who's been turning heads and breaking records all season. We're talking about a player who's not just good, she's changing the game. So leaving her out of the promo isn't just a small oversight, it's a massive misstep that's got everyone talking. And boy, are people talking. Social media is blowing up with fans expressing their disbelief and frustration. One fan summed it up perfectly. Attendance way up arena sold out, and you leave off the player responsible for the success. It's like the WNBA scored an own goal right before the playoffs. But here's where it gets really interesting. Jason Whitlock, never one to mince words, threw his hat into the ring with a take that's got everyone buzzing. He suggested that the WNBA might be embarrassed by Clark's success because of her race and personal life choices. Whitlock didn't pull any punches, saying, "The WNBA is embarrassed by its savior because she's the wrong color and has a boyfriend." Now, that's a heavy accusation. Whether you agree with Whitlock or not, it's clear that this isn't just about a promo anymore. This has sparked a larger conversation about representation, recognition, and the future of women's basketball. Think about it. Clark's impact goes way beyond the court. She's not just putting up impressive stats, she's filling seats like nobody's business. The Indiana Fever went from struggling to get 4,000 fans to drawing in a whopping 177,000. That's not just growth, that's a seismic shift in the WNBA landscape. So why would the league choose to ignore such a game-changing player? Is it a simple oversight, or is there something more going on behind the scenes?
No regrets, and obviously there's still so much time left. Like, I want to be a national champion, and that's our goal.
The Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted, has a black eye during the second half of the game because Dejanay Carrington stabbed her with her fingernails in the eye.
And then her just confidence, you can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence, the flair, like she's a performer.
These are the questions fans are asking, and the WNBA's silence is only adding fuel to the fire. This situation is reminiscent of some of the biggest snubs in sports history. It's like when the NBA initially left Michael Jordan off the 1984 Olympic team, or when Wayne Gretzky was passed over for the NHL All-Star game in his rookie year. These These decisions didn't age well, and fans are wondering if the WNBA is making a similar mistake with Clark. The irony here is palpable. The very player who's bringing new life to the league, attracting fresh fans, and generating buzz, is the one being left out of the spotlight. It's a head-scratcher that's leaving even the most die-hard WNBA supporters confused and frustrated. But here's the thing, this controversy isn't just about Caitlin Clark, it's about what she represents. The future of women's basketball. Clark's success is proof that the WNBA is evolving, attracting top-tier talent, and capable of drawing massive crowds. By seemingly ignoring her in their promotional material, the league risks sending the wrong message about its priorities and vision for the future. The WNBA's promo snub raised eyebrows, but Clark's response? Pure fire on the court. Or was it? Her first taste of playoff action served up a twist that no one saw coming. You'd think Caitlin Clark would be unstoppable after her record-breaking regular season, but playoff basketball is a whole different beast, and even the brightest stars can get caught in its shadows. Picture this, the Indiana Fever, making their first playoff appearance since 2016, and it's all thanks to Clark's magic. The crowd's buzzing, the energy's electric, and everyone's waiting for Clark to light it up. But sometimes, basketball has other plans. Clark steps onto the court, ready to dominate, but instead of swishing nets, she's clanking iron. 1 miss, 2 misses, 3. Suddenly, she's missed 10 of her first 11 shots.
Do I need to call you the female version of Steph Curry, or do I need to call Steph Curry the male version of Caitlin Clark? I mean, which one is it?
That's how twisted and screwed up this WNBA thing and this sexuality thing is they got going on in the WNBA.
I think more than anything, it's like surprising, like you guys didn't know, like this is how women's sports are played. Like, come on.
That's the kind of start that can shake even the most confident players. But here's where it gets interesting. Clark doesn't break. Despite the rough start, she keeps pushing. She ends the game with 11 points and 8 assists. Not her best performance, sure, but she's still contributing. And you know what's really wild? The fans are still going crazy for her. The stands are packed, the energy's high, and it's all for Clark and her team. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what about that black eye she got earlier? Maybe that threw her off. Nope. Clark's not making excuses. She straight up said, "Got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me." That's the kind of toughness that separates the good from the great. But let's be real for a second. Clark's frustration was visible. She admitted, "It's so frustrating as a shooter when it won't go down for you." Can you imagine? You're in the biggest game of your career, and suddenly it feels like the basket's got a lid on it. That's the kind of moment that can break a player's spirit. But here's where Clark shows why she's special. Instead of sulking or giving up, she keeps battling. She's out there, still making plays, still fighting for her team. And her teammates, they've got her back 100%. They know Clark's the real deal, and one tough game doesn't change that. This isn't just about talent anymore. It's about heart, determination, and proving the doubters wrong. Clark's showing that she's not just a fair weather player. She can take a hit, miss some shots, and still come back swinging. That's the kind of player that builds dynasties.
Perspective, what we're able to do, and the way people want to watch women's basketball and watch women's sports. And I mean, it's truly incredible.
She's got to get out of there. They need a real enforcer. They need people that have Caitlin Clark's back.
You can also feel the buzz in the city about what we're going to be able to do. As long as we focus one game at a time, I think we'll be in a great spot.
And let's not forget, this is just the beginning. Clark's already broken the league record for assists in a season. She's transformed the Fever from a struggling team to a playoff contender. One tough game doesn't erase all of that. Clark's attitude through all this? Pure gold. She's all about the team, saying, "Nobody ever quit. We came in here every single day and continued to work." That's the kind of leadership that turns good teams into great ones. You know what's wild about Clark? She's breaking records left and right, but she still doesn't think she's famous. How does a superstar stay so grounded? It's like she's playing in a whole different league, not just on the court, but in her mind too. Picture this. You've just become the assist queen of the WNBA, smashing records with 317 assists in a single season. That's not just good, that's changing the game entirely. Most players would be strutting around, soaking up the spotlight. But Clark? She's out here saying, "I don't feel famous. I just try to be somebody that loves playing basketball." That's not just humility, that's a whole new level of cool. But let's rewind for a second. Remember when the Fever were sitting at 1-8? Most rookies would have crumbled under that pressure, not Clark. She stepped up and said, "Nobody ever quit. We came in here every single day and continued to work. That's not just talk, that's leadership. And guess what? It worked. The Fever went from the bottom of the barrel to a playoff berth. That's the kind of turnaround that makes legends. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but lots of players put up good numbers. True, but Clark isn't just putting up numbers, she's rewriting the playbook. That 317 assist season, that's not just a record, that's a statement. She's not just playing the game, she's elevating everyone around her. Just ask Aaliyah Boston. Clark assisted on a 105 of Boston's baskets. That's not just chemistry, that's like they're playing with a cheat code.
For myself, like coming in, right off my college season and then coming right to the WNBA, having that reset has been something that I probably haven't had in like a year.
That was on purpose. Is Caitlin Clark making too much of it? Is she exaggerating it, trying to get the call? You can think both things. You can think, hey, this is on purpose.
A lot of people at the time never thought Iowa women's basketball would be there in that moment, and obviously I was a freshman and our team was super young.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Most players with Clark's stats would be all over social media, building their brand. But Clark? She's out there after games, signing mini basketballs for fans. She's not just playing for herself, she's playing for the love of the game and the people who support her. And let's talk about pressure for a second. Clark's teammate, Erica Wheeler, said it best. To be that young, to have that weight on her shoulders. She really doesn't flinch when it comes to the outside noise. That's not just mental toughness, that's next level focus. While everyone else is talking about her, Clark's just out there, doing her thing, making history like it's no big deal. But here's the real kicker. Clark isn't just changing the game on the court. She's changing what it means to be a star in women's basketball. She's proving that you can be a record-breaking superstar and still keep your feet on the ground. She's showing that true greatness isn't about how many followers you have or how much hype you generate. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and lifting your team to new heights. Alright, let's talk about what's really going on here. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's changing the game. She set the WNBA record with 317 assists in a season. That's insane! But here's the kicker. The league seems to be ignoring her in their playoff promos. What's up with that? This isn't just about Clark though, it's about the future of women's basketball. Clark's showing us what's possible, and fans are loving it. The Fever went from struggling to sell tickets to packing the house. That's the kind of impact that can change everything. So here's the deal. Whether the WNBA wants to admit it or not, Clark is the future. And it's up to us fans to keep supporting players like her who are pushing the boundaries. The league might have forgotten Clark in their promo, but we won't let anyone forget her impact on the court. Game on!